Ice Cold Pepsi, the Rich Hansen story, part 2. The cold glass pressed up against his closed lips. He was afraid to open them, afraid to be disappointed again. The carbonation tickled his nose. His lips opened up just a touch. The sweet, caramel liquid slowly parted his dry, cracked lips. The sugary substance entered the cavern of his mouth and touched the tip of his tongue. His eyes widened. His hands began to shake. He could feel his heartbeat quicken. Rich had never felt like this before. His palms were sweaty. His mouth was ready. If he could only get his hands to steady. There was a gleam in his eye. What was this beverage? It must be a divine drink of the heavens, a nectar of the gods. Rich could hardly maintain his decorum as he threw his head back and greedily chugged the remaining liquid in what he now considered too small of a cup. Rich leapt up out of his booth seat. "Give me a large," he screamed, "of whatever this heavenly beverage is called." The waiter's staff was taken by surprise. Never had Rich asked for a refill of any drink with a smile on his face. When the waitress had regained her composure, she quickly brought Rich another drink, making sure that it was, of course, a large this time. Rich grabbed her hand as she set his drink down. I must know. What is this godly nectar?" Coley asked. She looked at him with a smile. "Real sugar," she said. "This new beverage is called Pepsi Cola." Rich leaned back in his seat, almost as if in a trance, eyes glazed over, lost in thought, hands still clasped around his ice-cold beverage. "Pepsi Cola," he slowly mumbled to himself. "Cold Pepsi, ice-cold Pepsi." Rich was snapped back to reality as the glass began to sweat and a cold droplet of water ran down his finger. Rich stood up, one hand on his hip, grabbed his drink, tipped his head back, opened his mouth and chugged the whole drink, without stopping or taking even a single breath. A smile on his face so big that everyone in attendance knew that a new age had dawned, and this, my friends, is the day that ice-cold Rich Hansen was born anew.